Change.org here with Chris Hedges and Alexa O'Brien. We just found out Jeremy Hammond is going to face the full sentence of 10 years. What is your reaction to this, Chris?
I was appalled. I mean, here is a classic whistleblower, a person of conscience who acted with tremendous courage to inform the public about activities that I think are clearly criminal. The judge proved once again that the U.S. judiciary is a wholly owned subsidiary of the corporate state. She gave him a sentence that is, deeply unjust, really a form of lynching, and proved that the court system in this country works on behalf of corporations like Dow Chemical and Raytheon and the internal security apparatus, and we can all go to hell.
Alexa, you want to add to that?
I do. I think that Judge Preska's sentence actually proved Hammond's point in his statement regarding the rule of law and the fact that he's being penalized for his criminal behavior, which he takes full responsibility for, but the criminals that are in control of our government are not. And so, in a certain sense, the drama of that moment of Hammond talking about why he leaked what he leaked and why he did what he did set the stage for what I'm sure he was expecting, and I think a lot of us were expecting. For Judge Preska to expect people to respect the law that doesn't respect them is a bit of an overstretch of what human beings are capable of.
She primarily used his language, his rhetoric online, and not just his actions to pretty much persecute him. Can you talk about Jeremy Hammond and the person he was? A lot of people don't know about him. Can you talk about why he was such an important figure to us?
Well, it's really interesting because, Hammond's defense counsel, in discussing the judge, talked about the, hundreds of letters that came in from people all over the place, from community activists, the fact that Hammond would actually feed homeless people, in his own time. And the sort of recurring statement is that, his lawyers themselves hadn't done as much community outreach or service that Hammond had done. And similarly, the government could not say that these acts were done for personal gain. They clearly weren't. That's what they said in court. Hammond is an extraordinary character. Hammond is the real deal. I mean, anybody who's read his statements while he's been incarcerated, waiting for his trial for his sentencing to happen, knows that this individual is not playing pretend or playing a role. Hammond's acts were fundamentally political acts. They were acts of conscience, and he's a mighty figure.
His acts were also very important to yourself in criminal proceedings that you guys brought against the U.S. government. Can you talk about what exactly Hammond released that helped you?
They weren't criminal proceedings. They were actually a civil suit against the President of the United States over the Section 1021B2 of the National Defense Authorization Act, which allows for the indefinite detention of anyone, anywhere in the world, no trial, no charges, on the suspicion of terrorism. The language is very vague, substantial support. Well, in the run-up to Occupy, because I was, had organized 6 protests with others on September 17th, 2011, emails from the Stratfor leak showed Stratfor was speaking with another private security contractor trying to tie the group that I helped found to Islamic fundamentalist movements. What's interesting is that it was part of a fabric of emails and a fabric of documents, government documents, other private security contractor documents, all trying to tie the organization and myself to Al-Qaeda. I mean, I had federal agents contact my place of employment at the time, asking about me by name and the like. So I'm very grateful to Hammond and to what he released, because Judge Forrest in the Southern District of New York, who was the judge in our case against Obama, found that the court record and our testimony showed a credible fear of detention by the government. In the court case itself, the government would not answer the question of whether or not the articles that I have published on my website and other websites would actually put me at risk under the indefinite detention clause.
Is there anything else you'd like to say?
Just thank you, Jeremy Hammond.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Chris, one last question really quick. I'm really sorry for interrupting. I just have to finish this really quickly. I know Jeremy's information that he released was very important to your criminal proceedings.
Yes.
How will it affect the future of your work?
Well, if I don't have whistleblowers, we don't have people who are exposing the inner workings of power and the malfeasance by centers of power, then there's no possibility, I speak as a journalist, by which we can write rationally about what's happening to us. That there is no free press without figures like Jeremy Hammond. It doesn't exist.